You're finally safe to play on your AMD chips once again. Valve and Epic Games go head-to-head on NFTs, and the founder of Twitter wants you to actually mine for some reason. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your host, Brett. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. That's the only time when you're allowed to enjoy hot news. I know I haven't really been following up on that as I've done episodes lately. Fun fact, we were supposed to do an episode of hot news on Friday, but normally I film these really late at night, like 9-10 p.m., really late. It is for me as an old man. But I accidentally laid down at 7 p.m. and since I was so sleep deprived from the charity stream, I just didn't wake up until 7 a.m. So I got a lot of sleep, but you didn't get a lot of news, so let's fix that. Let's talk about how Microsoft is fixing the issue that's been popping up on Ryzen chips on Windows 11, because there's been a cache latency issue that could affect processor performance to the tune of 15% in certain games. On average, it was roughly 7.5% performance penalty for upgrading to Windows 11 because of some bad caching issues that Windows 11 was doing it. But now on the latest insider update, they have fixed it according to them. So this should be better than them making it worse than they did last week when we talked about that in that first episode of Hot News since I've been back. And in case you can't tell, my tongue is still catching up to my brain. Hot news just coming out so fast and furious. You know what else is coming out fast and furious? Today's episode sponsor of Hot News, Drop. Wow, Brett, come on, get your segues together. I'm gonna do better than this for the rest of the episode, I promise you. Drop's been a sponsor for a while here on UFD Tech and Hot News, and today they're bringing you a heck of a deal. Their Alt high-profile mechanical keyboard is selling for $50 off right now at $180. I absolutely love Drop's keyboards, from the Alt to the Control to the Enter. The Alt high profile is the one that we're talking about here today. It comes in 2 different colors, black or space gray, with 6 different choices of switches to start with. It's also hot swappable, which means you can take the switches out without needing to solder them, and because it's the high profile, has a tall CNC aluminum case around the edge with a 6-degree typing feel. You also have the customizable RGB backlighting and underlighting to make it glow ever so nicely, but I cannot say good enough things about Drop's keyboards. The Alt high profile is the one that they want you to check out today, on sale, $50 off, using our link in the video description, dro.ps/HN-alt, or just click the link instead of trying to remember everything I just said, because I don't even remember it. But let's talk about what you will remember in a little while, because this is only going to come out in a regional market and then also not be widely available. Galax showing off their DDR5 gamer RGB RAM sticks that can fit Lego block on top of them. Look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. This is a brilliant idea. You stack 4 of these side by side, and then you can, like, you know how people put their like minifigs in their PC and they just like stand them down? No, you're gonna like mishmash your Lego Gundam, stack it on top of the RAM, and it's going to be right next to the CPU cooler. This is a brilliant idea. Why aren't we seeing it? Probably because it's not an official licensing partnership with Lego, and you know, there might be some trademark or copyright stuff involved in there. Who knows? This just circles on plastic. Am I right? No, I'm not, which is why I'm not a patent attorney. You know what else I'm not? A physics. Let's talk about NFTs and blockchain games. Valve banning them, according to some game developers who are trying to implement NFT versions of games, with them saying that you shouldn't publish NFT-based games because they have real-world value, and that violates one of Valve's policies when it comes to publishing games on Steam, of not allowing that kind of thing on there. With Space Pirate IO saying Steam's point of view is that the items have value and they don't allow items that can have real world value on their platform. While I respect their choice, I fundamentally believe that NFTs and blockchain games are the future. That's why I started this journey with all of you, which I think actually makes a little bit sense. I think I agree more with the practical utility of NFTs and blockchains in video games for items, especially in like MMOs and that kind of stuff, than I do with the whole like buying art with it, because I still like, I get it, but it's also just like you're making it up and you're just trying to convince yourself it's right. That's at least my take on NFTs, especially the crypto art scene of NFTs. Non-fungible tokens makes a lot of sense when you're actually using it as a token to represent something. Using it as a token to represent art, which is just a JPEG, kind of silly in my opinion. I'm not getting into this rant once again, but regardless, one of the hot takes that I've heard on this is that this is not Valve actually saying they don't want blockchain or NFT games on their platform, just that they haven't developed their platform for taking a cut of these games, and that once they do, then they'll be allowed on their platform. But Epic Games saying, hey, we're open to this, all right? You want to publish it on our platform? Come on over. We put a lot of stuff on our platform that nobody seems to care about, so let's add another one that's just super niche and nobody really is going to play this for a long while, so let's just jump on in on the good PR bandwagon against Steam. Good job, Epic Games. Proud of you. And it's time for me to get to the Cryptostonks update, because it's time to talk about how Bitcoin just, it's exploded. $61,250 as I'm speaking right now, down from its high of 62.5 that was on Friday. Absolutely bananas increasing on this Bitcoin. We also have Ethereum up quite a bit to sit at $3,800, down a little bit from its peak, almost breaching $4,000. Dogecoin mildly down. It hasn't really gone anywhere for a while. It's sitting at like 23 cents. It's not as good as when it was up at what? How much did it go up to? It went up to 74 cents. That's absurd. Who would pay 74 cents for a Dogecoin? I don't know. GameStop down on Friday, down 0.3% to close at 183.28. AMC up slightly, 1.67% to close at 40.74. It would have made a lot more sense for me to move all of the Bitcoin and crypto stuff I had and put it all together, but I didn't do that. So we're going to talk about more crypto in a bit. And we're also going to talk about how Tesla has removed Cybertruck specs from its website, where you cannot see what version of the truck that you're buying. You can no longer choose between the single, dual, or triple motor versions, or have it based on range, and no longer can you lock in the full self-driving price. You can see here previously, this is what the website looked like, where you had all of those options, and now you can just put in the fully refundable $100 pre-order price on that, with no specifications of the spec sheets being visible on the website anymore, which has led to a lot of people calling the Cybertruck just to be vaporware, as something that was unattainable when Elon Musk announced it, and that it's likely not going to come out in its version as it was mentioned on stage, with also it now having a mention of up to 500 miles of range and not 500 plus like it was initially quoted. This has happened previously with different cars that they've launched. I'm not necessarily too worried about it. I do have a pre-order in for the Cybertruck, but again, it was a $100 refundable deposit, so I'm not necessarily holding my breath at the fact that they're changing some spec sheets. Would I absolutely love to get in on a $50,000 0 to 60 in 3.7 second hauling truck? Yes. Will I be disappointed if it's slightly worse than that? Not particularly. I only spent $100 on it at this point, and it's not really a whole lot lost for me. What do you think of the Cybertruck? Was it too much, too promised, too soon? Let me know down in those comments. Also, Tesla now releasing the Model Y in the UK. You can finally pre-order it for the low price of £55,000. Don't know how much that is in kilos, but does seem like a lot. And also Tesla finally launching the refresh Model X, which they haven't sold, as far as I'm aware. They haven't shipped out a new Model X to a customer since like November or December of last year, so they're almost coming up on a year of not producing a new one of these cars, and this was supposed to come out all the way back in January, February timeframe, but now finally October 17th, first deliveries of the Model X taking place, as you can see here with the refreshed interior. It has the horizontal screen as opposed to the vertical one, and then it also has the weird yoke steering wheel that for whatever reason Tesla has decided is going to be the way of the future. And Qualcomm doesn't want anybody to choose anything else as the way of the future, with them throwing shade at Google on Twitter using those red flag emoji trend that I saw all over the place. I didn't necessarily get this one. Why so many red flags? Okay, like 3 would have been sufficient. You adding more flags doesn't make it any better anyway, saying we've decided to make our own smartphone SoC instead of using Snapdragon. This is a red flag of a company person you don't want to be with, okay? This is a major red flag. Like when somebody says that they have lunch with hot news. 40 million red flags flying up all over the place. You don't associate with those type of people. Anyways, MKBHD is saying it's not too late to delete this. Obviously, this is in combination with the fact that Google is supposed to be launching the Pixel 6 with their own Tensor processor, and a lot of other companies do seem to be making their own SoCs lately, like Apple, which their event is today for us to find out all about the new stuff, which I can't tell you about because it's in the future of when I'm filming this, as well as when you're watching this, but there are leaks indicating that we're going to get a new MacBook Pro, a new Mac Mini, potentially a new MacBook Air, and AirPods 3 coming out. And there's some rumors indicating that the MacBook Pro might have a notch display, which in my Discord, people were all up in arms over the fact that it had a notch. I honestly am not bugged by a notch in the slightest. I've had it on my phone forever. It doesn't, like, you get more screen real estate. You just have a chin at the top. I'm staring at this laptop I'm using right now, and it has a huge ass bezel with a notch for the camera in the bezel, right? Like, if I just got that added side as extra screen real estate, I'd be all for it. That'd be amazing. Hopefully Apple can make this work in the software. I don't know. Notch, no notch. Why does this bother you? Why does this bother people? I don't, like, is it ugly? Yeah, but it also is like super effective. You get more screen real estate. Whatever. That's my take on it. And TSMC's taken their fabrication facilities to Japan, with them announcing the most advanced semiconductor fab in Japan. They should be using it for 20 and 28 nanometer production, and in being collaboration with all major Japanese manufacturers such as Sony and the like, but this obviously won't go towards making like PS5 SoCs or anything like that. Speaking about PS5 stuff, dBrand pulling its Darkplates because Sony threatened them with legal action, which is rather surprising after dBrand said, go ahead, sue us. I'm going to be talking about this more in depth and in a more conversational style over on UFD Tech today, so go hop on over there to see if that video is live. But in case you wanted Darkplates for your PS5, you'll have to get them from AliExpress or something, or Etsy. There's a million places where you can get like third-party plates. dBrand was just the one audacious enough to tell them to sue them. But Xbox really knows the way to the consumer's heart. It's not by, pulling a product that people actually want. It's by releasing a product that people actually want, which is the Mini Fridge Series X. Pre-orders open tomorrow, only available at Target in case you want to get that. But the Xbox Series X Mini Fridge will be available for $100 shipping in December. And Twitch shipping not a whole lot right now because they had that massive source code leak that happened as I was starting my Cannonball run. I got all of that emails, and then we actually had to restart our stream like 48 hours in because Twitch reset all of the stream keys and made it so that we couldn't stream anymore after the 48-hour mark. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Twitch saying that passwords were not exposed in the massive data breach, just all of the financial records and the stream keys and a whole bunch of other stuff that actually does matter, but not your password, my friends. You don't have to change that in case you were caught in the Twitch leak, which you most likely were. And are you caught up in GPU rumors? There are a few more coming out. There might be an RTX 3080 with 12 gigabytes of VRAM launching in January. Why? Nvidia reasons, okay? You want it might come out, who knows? There's also rumors of RTX 3050 Ti and RTX 3050 that might launch in January as well. I would love this. This is one I'm actually a little bit more excited about, considering that both AMD and Nvidia have neglected the lower end market. Why is the RTX 3060 and 6600 the lowest end GPUs we have? It's kind of nonsense. These cards have been out for a year. Where are the actual budget cards, people? I get it. You don't make a high margin on it, but it's just be a business. I see how it is. And that's exactly what Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Square and Twitter, is saying about Square. They want to be a business and get businesses mining Bitcoin by giving you a Bitcoin miner that's somehow integrated with Square and the Square payment system, and so that you can mine cryptocurrency in your little office shop. But first saying that mining needs to be way more efficient in order to make this happen. With very few details of how this mining device that would come from Square would work. My guess is that they would have their own pool and that they would take a cut. That's pretty significant, but you wouldn't see it, since they're saying that they want it to be a plug-and-play setup so that you just plug it in when you get it, and that way you're earning money, and you never really see it. You earn more than your electricity cost, but you don't see that they're skimming off the top on those pool fees. They're trying to make it so that they make money off of you. That's how it rationally works in my brain as that business rolls that out. And Intel, as they roll out their GPUs, has said that they're not going to introduce a mining limiter, saying that as far as software lockouts and things of that nature, we're not designing this product or building any features at this point that specifically target miners, which I think is the right thing to do. If I buy a piece of hardware, I should be able to do whatever the heck I want with it. Whatever software I use on it is none of your concern. If I want to load up some damn Neopets, you're not in the right to block me on that, okay, Nvidia? That's my stance. And then, Nvidia's way of doing the mining limiter is not, it just limits the Ethereum algorithm, but 20%, and there's ways around it where you can unlock it. And then you can also mine a million other cryptocurrencies. It's not like it completely shuts you down. It was more for marketing and PR. I think AMD and Intel are in the right by not locking it down, because Nvidia's way of doing it absolutely did nothing. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this episode of Hot News. I hope Spicy Brett was good enough to heat up your breakfast for you. You can go ahead and watch Thursday's episode of Hot News, where we covered why the eyebrows situation, as well as, what happened when I was gone. A whole lot. See you tomorrow for breakfast.